Hello and welcome back to Daniel Drives, and welcome to the Alexandra Palace. I'm really excited because today I'm here in London, the big city, for the launch of the new BYD Dolphin Surf. I'm really grateful actually because the previous video on the channel was my first press car, and this time in this video it's my first car launch. I'm really grateful for the opportunity, so I'm going to take you along for the journey. So this is it then, the Ali Pali Stadium, obviously famous for all the darts competitions. And at the front, there's a load of Dolphin Surfs. I've seen, honestly, hundreds arriving into London. They're all on test drives and stuff, and yeah, it's great to be here already. What a cute little car. All right then, after quite a long wait, we've made it into the event. I've got my own lanyard, I feel very official. Anyway, let's take a look around the event. Well, this is very cool. We're walking down a tunnel. It's all BYD themed. Obviously, a lot of the BYD names are to do with sea creatures. You look at the dolphin, look at the seal, there's loads of them. And yeah, to be fair to them, the presentation here is really quite incredible, very colourful. There's a little games corner here as well. There is so many influencers here. I feel almost out of place. I got talking to quite a few in the queue on the way in, lovely people. And we all subscribe to each other and follow each other on various social platforms. But yeah, there's a lot of young people here. And it's interesting because obviously this car, the new Dolphin Surf, is going to be a car sort of with a young target demographic, hence why they've invited so many young people here. Yeah, it's great to see, really. Here we go then. Let's leave my mark. There we go. Daniel Drives. The whole thing is so creative here. There you go. Left my mark on this wall. The art and everything is really well presented. So let's take a bit of a closer look at the new Dolphin Surf. I've got one here in this lovely kind of lime yellowy greeny colour, similar to the colour that the Honda E came out in. And I think it's great. It really takes your attention. It looks great on camera as well compared to like a black one or something. There's various different colour options, but the price today's been announced. It's going to be priced at £18,650 on the road. That's the starting price. And I think that figure is going to be crucial really, because BYD are aiming this car at the people that are entering the EV life, or maybe as a first car even. That's the market they're aiming this car towards. So what are the finance deals going to be like? That's going to be the crucial thing. But from a design perspective, I think this car looks good. It looks unique. On the photos, I wasn't too sure, but now I've seen this car in real life, in the metal, I think it looks great. It looks different to a lot of its competitors that are quite smooth and perhaps maybe a little bit boring. I think this, the Renault 5, the Honda E, they're all examples of really unique looking electric cars that will probably sell because they appeal. The side profile for me, I really like. I love this rear design. It almost looks a little bit like a shopping trolley, and I mean that as a compliment. It sounds bizarre, but the fact you've got that rear spoiler in the higher ranking models, it really makes it look like something you can push around like a toy car. Again, as a compliment, because I think cars should be quirky, especially if it's a company like BYD, which is breaking into the European market. I really do think a lot of people say, oh, Chinese cars are going to take over, Chinese electric cars. I think it's incorrect. I think they are taking over. It's the start of a new revolution, really, for the motoring industry, and I think a lot of European brands are going to be fearing this car because all along they should have been really focusing on small EVs instead of the massive bloated SUVs. So I think BYD are making a pretty good approach. Okay, so one thing I've noticed straight away, I've come to a different car now in the same colour, is the tyres. A lot of budget EVs tend to come on really budget tyres, like Linglong tyres or something. But this one comes with actually decent tyres. It's got Hankook tyres on it, and I think it's really important because if you put maybe a young person in an electric car with instant torque, it's good to have good tyres. There's some Hankook tyres, Ion STAS tyres, and Hankook is a premium brand, so it's good, very good in fact, that BYD have not kind of cheapened out on the tyres, because arguably they're the most important thing about a car. Right then, let's climb inside the new Dolphin Surf. Let's feel how quality this car is. Obviously I mentioned that this car is priced around £18,500. So does it feel like an £18,500 car? That's the real question. So first of all, I'm sat here, I'm not sure what seating position it's in, but I wouldn't say the headroom is particularly class leading, I wouldn't say. I think the Renault 5 are definitely more headroom, but the seat's probably quite high up. But you don't really care because it's got karaoke. Now I can't play a lot of these songs because I'll get copyrighted, but it's got this nice little screen here that you can twist. So press that one, it's a bit of a BYD quirk. You can have the screen in portrait, so if you're used to your Teslas or something, you're used to, you'll be used to having it portrait, or in something else, you can have it in landscape, like our Megane E-Tech. It's kind of your preference, really, how you want to have it. Climate control at the bottom, you've got your home screen here, and yeah, first impressions, it seems very responsive. A lot more responsive than some of its rivals, but you've got a tiny little computer screen in front of you here for your speedo and everything, and I think that's quite neatly designed as well. Let me just zoom in a little bit, you can see there. Now range, I think the top spec model is going to have up to 200 miles of range, which I think is okay for this caliber of car. It's got a microphone for the karaoke, but no, I think the cabin it's laid out quite well, I would say. So I would give credit to BYD, and it's got some nice little luxury bits like proper LED lights as well for your reading and stuff when you're parked up. But no, it's nice, it's different, and I think it had to be, because I think in a world where so many cars are so similar now and so generic, it's good to be different. And you've still got some physical buttons here, and they look like aluminium. I'm not entirely sure how these work actually. It's kind of like a rocker mechanism. And this is your drive selector here. But no, I do think actually it's pretty good in here, it's decent. Let's see what this car's like in the back. Right, because this tends to be where small cars can be let down. I'll just try and climb in the back. It's actually, blimey, it's actually really good. Wow. There's a lot of headroom in the back of here, and legroom as well is absolutely aplenty. You'll have to bear in mind I'm self-filming this, so I can't show you properly. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's claustrophobic to the sides a little bit because it's all tinted, but you've got a nice view ahead when you're sat in the back. And no, it feels pretty good in here, quite comfy. Quite surprised actually. How about the boot space then? Now, I can't do the Daniel Drives boot space test because I'll probably get kicked out of the Alexandra Palace Stadium. But it's pretty good in here. I have actually got the figures. Later on, I'll get the Daniel Drives book of notes out. It's got a false floor as well, so you can store charging leads or BYD bag, whatever you want to keep under there. Obviously, nothing illegal. It's the plates for the car. And no, I would say this boot space is pretty good, really. Water's so much nicer through a can. So I've come outside now here at Alexandra Palace because there's a Dolphin Surf just outside, and it's nice to see one actually in the sunlight. And I really like this colour. I think it's a pretty white, and it's got this really nice livery, which I'm not sure if you can spec when you actually go to get one of these cars, but honestly, I'm really quite impressed with this car. I was intrigued to see it in person and not from photos in a studio, because you never really get a full sense of the design from the pictures and the renders. But in real life, I do think this car looks quirky, and it's going to definitely appeal to that younger audience. I mean, just look at this like carbon fibre-esque, it's obviously not real, spoiler. It's quite insane, let's say. Not sure if I'd have that myself, but no, I do really like this livery. So what exactly does SURF mean? Well, it's actually an acronym. It stands for something. Safe, urban, reliable, and fun. And I can definitely vouch for the fun side. I really think this design is quirky. It's designed fully for the European market in mind, and it's actually designed by ex-Mercedes and Audi designers, which I think is a massive statement and something I'm actually quite surprised you haven't tapped into more. There's 4 driving modes: Snow, Eco, Normal, and Sport. And I think a really interesting thing for the nerds like me, EV nerds, it's got a blade battery. It's got no cobalt or nickel. So for all the EV skeptics that are like, you know, all the cobalt being dug up and everything is not eco-friendly, you're right, but this has no cobalt. And the benefit of that is you can charge it from 0 to 100 as many times as you want, and it's not going to damage the battery in the long run. It's got no heat pump. Now BYD are saying that quite proudly, and that's because they believe it's a small cabin and it's just not needed, to be honest, and it can keep the price down to $18,650. 12-year anti-corrosion warranty, that's quite a big headline. So if you're worried about rust on Chinese EVs, then maybe you don't have to. 12-year anti-corrosion warranty, which is really quite good. This car is a lot stronger and safer than a lot of its competitors. It's got 68.2% higher strength steel, and they're aiming for a safety rating between 3 to 4 stars. Now, a lot of its rivals are a lot lower than that, you know, cars this price point, so that's definitely something that BYD can boast. 308 litres boot capacity, which is pretty good. It's a 4-seater, but they are 4 good seats, you know, not just 5 pretty useless ones. You don't have to have a physical key. You can use a digital key on the highest spec model, so you can just use your phone to get into the car, which I think is very interesting. And it's got vehicle to grid, so you can power your barbecue, which I think is a really, really nice touch. You've got different colour options: lime green, which is this one, apricity white, which is like a beige, I do like that, polar night black, and ice blue. I think that's actually some nice colours there, nice little colour palettes. It's nice to actually see colour. Batteries, you can choose between a 30 kilowatt hour battery or a 43.2 kilowatt hour battery, which is quite big. Obviously you can choose depending on price. And 2 different motors, 65 kilowatts and 115 kilowatts. And that's 88 horsepower or 156 horsepower, which actually is quite powerful. And that higher ranking motor means you can do 0-60 in just 9.1 seconds with a top speed of 93. Now you can rapid charge, you can CCS rapid charge at 85 kilowatts, which is pretty good for this battery. So 10 to 80% BYD are claiming at this fast charge speed 30 minutes, which I think is pretty good. So yeah, these specs, I've had a few days to ponder over them, and now I'm looking around the car. I actually think it's quite impressive. So if you're after a budget EV, maybe on finance or something, then this really is a sensible one you should bear in mind. Now, I would have really liked to have taken the new Dolphin Surf for a test drive. Unfortunately, I've got to be 25 and I'm 19. So they kind of looked at me and went, "You're too young," which is a shame. But I will try and drive one in future, and maybe some of the other BYD range as well, to compare them and just see, you know, how much the Chinese are really taking over the EV market. And just like that, it's the end of my time here at the Ali Pali Stadium, the Alexandra Palace. What an amazing place, absolutely huge. And to be here for an event like today, you know, for the launch of the new BYD Dolphin Surf, it's actually an honour really to be invited. So thank you to everyone at BYD for the invite really. It was great to meet people today, do some networking and all of that, but also to see this new car, a car which I think we're going to see quite a lot of on the roads over the next few years. All depends really on the finance deals and stuff really. But I hope you've enjoyed this little walk around. It is a shame we didn't get to drive one because I was planning to brave the London roads. But there's a BYD dealership not far from me actually, so I'm going to do my very best to maybe get a couple more BYD cars on the channel, because I do think out of all of the Chinese manufacturers out there, BYD, Build Your Dreams, that's what it stands for by the way, they are probably the one to take most seriously really, because I know there's been many companies that have come and gone in the past. BYD is going to stick around, and with Tesla being so uncertain at the moment with a certain Elon, a company like BYD is only going to benefit from that. So yeah, this car, I like it. I'm a big fan of small quirky cars, so this for me really is the cherry on the cake. I'm a big fan of it. So hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then follow me on social media at DanielCars05, where I posted some photos from today, and there's also some of the bits and bobs as well. And also subscribe to the channel, because a lot of you watch the channel, but not all of you are subscribed. So please, it only takes a minute, it's free. Leave a subscribe and also comment down below what you think of BYD in general, what you think of this event. Maybe you were here. What do you think of the Dolphin Surf? I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you soon.